think I'm simulcasting. Yes, I am. I guess so. I guess I'm running a simulcast. Good deal. Okay, let me do this. Let me, let me. Okay, there we go. Better. Much better. Okay. So, okay. I'm simulcasting. And then I could even share it to Facebook if I want, I think, on YouTube, since I'm simulcasting. Right? I'm running live video on YouTube. And okay, I'm not going to do anything I shouldn't do, so. All right. Well, let's see where it goes today. Let's see. What should we do? Where should we go? I need my glasses. I need my... All right. I'll be right back. Okay.
What are you doing, Dad?
Just gonna bring these over here for now, so they're out of my way.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not going back there. You don't have to worry. I'm not. Ouch. Ay, ay, ay. That hurt. All right. I wish there was some way that I could watch both. What's this say? I don't know. But, okay. I'm streaming here. I'm streaming there. Everything's okay. It's funny how it's live stream on YouTube. There's a delay. All right. Let's see. When virtual life turns into quarantine. What is that? The name. As we grew, Ethan and I were eager to establish separate identities. What did he say? He says, my first name comes from the children's book, Thomas the Tank. All right. The Railway series. My eldest brother had been reading the books. Dodo's new look. I thought dodo birds were stink. Species. All right, let's see. My first name comes from the children's book. This is from National Geographic. All right, it's from National Geographic, and it's from this month. It's for the month of August 2020. All right, and so I'm going to read a little bit. And because I'm simulcasting on YouTube as well as YouNow, so I'm broadcasting on both. So I can't, even though there's nobody on YouNow, I can't stop talking just because I'm on YouNow. I have to speak to both YouNow and YouTube. So even though there's nobody on either one, but the YouTube channel is going to be recorded, whereas the YouNow one won't be. So I have to give them something to watch and listen to. And eventually what will happen is that we'll be recording. I'll have a display capture and I'll be capturing what's going on here onto YouTube as well. So they'll see the same thing. And it'll be a different broadcast coming up after I get my new computer set up and that's set up for what I'm doing. So in the way that I'm going to do it. And then I'll have a normal broadcast schedule, which will start earlier in the day. And I'll be on a normal broadcast schedule, meaning that we'll be broadcasting many of the same things each day of the week for our fans out there and for those people that are going to fan us. So it won't be anything different. Well, it will be. It'll be different things each day. And we'll do certain things at certain times of the day. So getting that all set up. Anyway, so for YouTube and for YouNow, hopefully this will be an amazing thing because I'll have it on 2 different platforms. So sorry about the delay on YouTube. There seems to be a bit of a delay on my YouTube channel. Looks like I'm almost moving in slow speed. I am. I'm moving in slow speed. So it's still live. It's just delayed a bit. Maybe when I go back and I watch the rebroadcast of it, it'll be in real time. I don't know. So we'll see. Or at least it won't look like it does now. Because to me, it looks like it's in slow-mo. Anyway, so hopefully when I go back and watch a rebroadcast, it won't be in slow-mo. But as long as I'm on both, I'll leave it as it is. Anyway, I'm going to read from this afternoon. I'm going to read a little bit from National Geographic. And it's an article it says when virtual life turns into quarantine. And it's about coronavirus. It's a special report from the National Geographic. It's the August 2020 issue, written by Oliver Wang. So it says, part of what it says is my generation thrives in the virtual world. But when COVID-19 cuts us off from the physical world, something was lost. And it says my first name All right. My first name, which is his name is Oliver Wong, okay, or Wang, says my first name comes from the children's book about Thomas the Tank Engine, the railway series. My eldest brother had been reading the books, and Oliver the Western Engine was one of his favorites. My mother thought the name was beautiful, and so I was named after a train. It says the name also serves. This here. All right, let me see. I don't want to cover my face, but I want to be able to see what I'm reading too. Okay. It says the name also served as a poetic purpose. I was born I was born an identical twin, with which placed me into a set of parallel tracks with my brother, which placed me okay with my brother Ethan. Even if you've let's see if you've known shh, James, if you've known twins, you've heard a version of this story before. We were dressed in matching outfits, our hair cut into identical shiny black bowls. We looked the same and were treated the same, always together. Shh. Hey, shush. Lou. As we grew, Ethan and I were eager. As we grew, Ethan and I were eager to establish separate identities. We made different friends, wore different clothes. In high school, we often avoided talking to each other. Then we chose different colleges and were living apart for the first time in our lives. This was exciting to me. Life without a twin. Without people mixing me up with someone else. Without without this invisible force holding us together. But the change also terrified me. Even when I had pushed Ethan away, I was comforting nothing I was comforting it was comforting knowing he was there, and he was always there. Alone at college, I felt like I had lost something. I often think about the moment of separation now, since normal life has been upended and people everywhere have been forced apart by the unseen peril of COVID 19. Suddenly, the physical proximity in our day to day lives, which many of us took for granted, has been ripped away. I wondered what this will mean. I wonder what this will mean for my future, for the future in general, and for the future of my generation. I know I kind of have understand what it, not because I'm a twin, but I understand what it's like to be separated from your siblings. My brother and I were separated in high school years, and I remember that he was always there as a child, and growing up he was always there. And so when we were separated in high school, at the high school age, I felt alone. For the first time in my life, I actually felt alone and wished that he was there. Anyway, so I kind of understand that. It's it. I'm studying philosophy, and in one of my first courses, I came across a thought experiment. I came across a thought experiment devised by philosopher Frank Jackson that's widely known as Mary's Room. The premise is that Mary, a brilliant scientist, has lived her whole life in a colorless room where her only sensory input is through a black and white television screen. Mary has access to tons of information and knows everything about color perception. She's just never experienced it. Then one day, Let's say she walks out of the room, sees the blue sky, feels the bark of the trees, feels the bark of a tree. Jackson's question is, then one day, let's say she walks out, or say sees the then one day she walks out of the room, sees the blue sky, feels the bark of the tree. Jackson's question is, does she learn anything new? Does she learn anything new? Hmm. Does experiencing the world tell us something that we couldn't have learned by reading up on it? James, turn that down. Mary has access to tons of information and knows everything about color perception. Wait. Jackson says yes. Those things we miss by not living in the physical world, he calls qualia, and they're everything in the sun, the earth, other people. They're what's lacking in a strictly virtual life.
Dad, what do you want?
I'm on you now and YouTube. For years, I've had this nagging intuition that almost everything I need to do can be done virtually. I can talk to my friends, write, read, report stories, watch television, listen to a lecture, scroll through social media. When all my university's classes went online in late March, there were actually more things I could do. My professors were more available online. I had fewer distractions and easier access to a lot of materials. In lockdown, I moved back to my family home, but my life went on much as it was. My mother, a therapist, still sees her patients. My sister uses Zoom for her high school classes. It's just all virtual, a different reality. This kind of virtual life is home turf to my generation. I grew up with computers. I got bigger as they got smaller and more accessible. My peers learned how to surf the internet before our parents figured out how to flirt through text messages, formed cliques with instant messaging group chats, even before the pandemic. I spent some Saturday I spent some Saturday nights alone in my room, face lit by the glowing screens of my laptop and phone, chatting with friends online and watching sports highlights. After college, I'll enter an increasingly virtual workforce. Computers are or will be replacing humans across the economy. Bankers, truck drivers, factory workers, many of the jobs that aren't disappearing are moving online. You'll never be able to get rid of the shipping industry. That's one thing I definitely am going to say right now, that the shipping industry is one industry that will never go away because things will always need to be moved from one place to another. You can buy it virtually online, but you can't have it brought to your house virtually online. Like, I mean, that you can't, if you bought a table, all right, how are you going to move a table to your house virtually? You can't. It's got to be physically. So somebody's going to have to put it on a truck, all right, at a warehouse somewhere. When I say the shipping industry, I mean warehouses, I mean truck drivers, manufacturing companies, the companies that actually make the furniture or make the things. All right. It's always going to be there. It's never going to go away. Okay. It never will go away. Anyway, back to the story. It says many of the jobs that aren't disappearing are moving online. It says, I assume that most of my friends will work in professions that involve staring at computer screens or talking on phones. As a writer, I could end up working from home every day. I'm already spending half my life online, so that prospect doesn't feel all that jarring. Still, it's a pretty strange reality. For many young people like me, with healthy bodies and outsized beliefs of invincibility, the primary fear hasn't been that we will contract the virus. What we fear more is the profound uncertainty of our future. There are a lot of frightening possibilities. New ones seem to emerge every day. But I think the scariest possibility beyond this disease never going away is that this ubiquity of virtual living might never go away either. I worry that the experience of this pandemic might convince people that we can keep living just fine while physically isolated from others. I find myself slipping toward that reality. There are entire days when I don't leave the house, when my only human contact is with my brother as we await a turn at the bathroom. What if this level of is the future? In this environment, something clearly is lost. I'm sure of it because I feel different when I experience things directly rather than virtually. In some ways, being apart brought Ethan and me closer together. Once we were at college or at colleges in different states, we began calling each other. I can't remember who called who first, and we never talked about emotions or about girls or about philosophy. We just gave little updates. I haven't slept in 24 hours, or I just killed a huge burger. I'd never say this to him now. It's too cheesy, but it's true. The distance allowed us to figure out what we actually like about each other. So we gained something by crossing the miles virtually. There's something you can't simulate. All right? There's something that you can't simulate though about the physical presence of another human being. No screen will ever replace the feeling of an arm around your shoulders. At the end of my long distance chats with Easton, he'd hang up and be longing again. I'd be long I'd be alone again in my room, staring at a blank screen. My fear is that going forward, some of us will never completely come out of self-quarantine. That dread and uncertainty will cause us to lose part of our physical connection to the world, the qualia, qualia, qualia. Ethan and I are living together again for now, back in our childhood home. We are forced together along with my mother, father, sister, older brother, and his girlfriend, just as the rest of the world is being forced apart. Proximity with my twin isn't bothersome anymore. We stay up late playing video games, cracking jokes, belly laughing softly so we don't wake others. It's nice not being alone. We still rarely talk about serious topics. When I told Ethan about Mary's room, he just shrugged. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I was relieved. Ethan often makes fun of my philosophy philosophizing. I'll go on, confident that I'm exposing some deeper truth, and he'll say, "That's just stupid, dude." But our relationship isn't about what's said, it's about being connected. In the spring, we bleached our hair together in the same sink, turning it from black to almost white. I don't really know why we did it. It was Ethan's idea. We look the same now, but different. On a warm night, a few weeks into the pandemic, we walked out to the train tracks behind our house and tried to balance on the thin metal rails as we did sometimes when we were kids. Ethan was much Ethan was much better than at this than I was. I kept falling off the side, losing my balance. Oliver, the Western engine, derailed. Ethan, though Ethan though could keep going for minutes at a time. Occasionally, we'd end up next to each other and walk forward for a moment together. The way that the way dark the dark ahead of us, a little scary, but some kind of instinct kept us going, and we moved ahead on parallel tracks. That's an amazing story. You think about it right now, the fact that we're all being separated. This is talking about virtual, okay? It's talking about virtual, yes, and how they stayed in touch with each other virtually. They stayed in touch with each other virtually, which is a good thing. So, but how is it going to change us, right? How is it going to change us? Do, 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 do. Bana, 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 bana. Bana, bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, 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 bam. Avon. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let's see. I gotta order something. Mr. Mead. All right. Avon now. Um. Let's see. Item entry. Okay. Here we go. Wait. Let me do this. Let me look at the catalog. Snail. Let's see. Campaign 17. Go back. I don't want virtual catalog. I want. Let's see. Skincare. Hello, Lexus. How are you? What you up to today? Oh, I'm actually doing all right. I've only been on for about 30 minutes. I'm simulcasting on YouTube. So I was reading from National Geographic a few minutes ago, just an article that was there about uh, COVID-19 and how it's affecting um, people these days. Oh, what kind of food are you eating? Chicken nuggets. That's what my son eats. He likes, he had some chicken nuggets and some tater tots for lunch. Your weakness. What? Okay, let me ask this. Did you buy them from a restaurant or did you make them at home? You're an actual child. Okay. Child as in young, still in school. Oh, you're so juvenile. Not even college. Oh, so last year. What did you graduate with? What degree? So um so LVN or RN? Amazing. So you're done with school now, or were you actually working in the field before you did that, like doing some kind of working somewhere? I had some friends of mine that were going to school, or a friend of mine that was going to school to be an RN, and she was working as an EMT while she was doing it. Doctorate. So you're going to be a nurse practitioner. Is that what you're looking at? Yes. That's amazing. Cardiovascular surgery. Wow. Yes. It's funny that you talk about the heart or that you're talking about cardiovascular. My brother had, well, from the time that he was born, they called it a heart murmur, but it was actually a little hole that was in his heart. And at in his later years, like this has just happened like 8 or 9 years ago, and he ended up having to have a heart transplant. And this was almost 9 years ago. He had his heart transplant. So, and he lives like you'd never even know that he had a that he had a heart transplant. He works. He's a cement truck driver. Hmm. I'm not sure what age my brother was when they found it on him. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm not paying attention looking down, but just so that you know, I'm also an Avon sales representative. So I have an order that I'm putting in for someone. So at some point, you're gonna need like either a heart transplant. My brother went through stages of it. They told him when he was young, all right. They told him when he was young that at some point during his life that he was going to need a pacemaker. So when the time came, they put a pacemaker on, and he lived with that for a few years. His heart started to give out. So then they put an LVAD on him, which is basically a pump that they put inside your heart, and it does the work that your heart can't. And that LVAD that they used, um, that LVAD that they used was either going to be within, well, it was either they were going to give him a transplant or he was going to have the LVAD for the rest of his life. That's basically how they put it to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, a lot of times things that we go through like that, right? Awesome. What, if you don't mind me asking, what state do you live in? Oh, that's where I'm at. Northern or southern? I'm in Southern Cal. How far north? Like Fresno area, Sacramento. That's awesome. I meet a lot of people on here that are from like different states, even people that are from out of the country. Believe it or not. You're level 27? Do you broadcast at all, or do you just watch broadcasts? Which country? Let me guess. Before you say it, let me guess. Either England or Australia. No. Okay. Where from? Norway. Oh, okay. How do you like California? You said you've only been here for 3.5 weeks. How do you like California so far? Well, you're up in Sacramento. It's hot up there. Oh, you've been on you now for 3.5 weeks. Okay. I got you. Wait a minute. You've only been on you now for 3.5 weeks and you're already at level 27. What what are you doing to get yourself that high that quick? She's like, I don't know. Because I've been on you now. Okay. Now, granted, I've only started broadcasting regularly since last year, but I've been on you now for just about 11 years now. See, yeah, but see, the first 10 years of it, the first 9.5 years of it, really, I wasn't really broadcasting. I was just watching. So I didn't really, like I said, I really didn't start broadcasting until last year. Um, that's when I started really like deciding that I had a platform that I wanted to use, and so that I would move forward with my platform. I'm not completely set up yet. I've tried the OBS thing with my computer and stuff, and it just doesn't work with the computer that I have really well. So my son, who's a computer whiz, is building me a computer. And so when he's done building the computer, then he'll come over and help me set everything up. And then I'll be able to run OBS. I'll be able to do all the cool stuff with the screen, and I'll be able to run the type of the broadcast that I really want to run. But right now, like, it's just this as you see me, which will be like this later on, but it'll just be more of I'll be on a schedule is what I'll do. Have you ever seen my first week was just watching because I had COVID, so it kept me entertained. I covered. I started broadcasting. Yes, I worked. Cool. Awesome. So you're here in the States to get the rest of your doctorate? Are you going to stay here that long? Because you found love. Well, so then it wasn't such a bad thing moving here, right? If you found your true love. Ah, well, so jokes on me. Are you married, or is he just like your boyfriend? I'm not going to get too personal about it. Okay. How long have you been dating? That's a tough question to answer. Has it been like an on and off type of thing? Now, just so you know, okay, I want to be honest here. I have a degree as well, okay, but my degree is in theology. All right. Basically, I'm what we call here a preacher. So, oh, it's in theology. It's I study the Bible is what it is. Pretty cool. That's my platform on here. And although the schedule that I'm going to have is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to, hence the name retro. All right. In my, if you look at what it says, the name of my broadcast is, it's Todds RuttRohRetro. Do you know who Scooby Doo is? I'm pretty sure you know who Scooby Doo is, right? That's awesome. Man, what church do you guys go to, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, I asked what church did you go? What church did you meet at? Take it you both still go there when he's home anyway, right? Awesome. That's amazing. See, I'm always of the I'm always thinking to myself because of the fact that I'm a preacher, all right? And so I come on here to promote that platform, okay? And so God always brings people into my broadcast that need it. And I don't think I look at it as like a divine meeting. It's like God doesn't like have me meet people just out of circumstance, or I mean, not circumstance, but out of the blue for, just for whatever. I think that it's set up in advance. God's okay. You understand what I'm saying? That God sets it up. It's amazing, I mean, it's funny because you now typically is not, a Christian broadcast, platform. It's just not. That's not what it's there for. You're right, and you can see from the way people, what they broadcast. Hey, Nate, welcome to the broadcast. You can see from the types of broadcasts that there are out there that it's not typically a Christian broadcast area. Okay, but that's exactly why. All right, that's exactly why I came, or that I'm here, that I came in, because it needs. I think you glitched, or I think you're refreshing again, or you left. Oh, I don't know what's going on with you now, but oh, hey Nate, you're still here too? Okay. Yes, it doesn't. A minute ago it showed that you were in my audience. Now it doesn't show you're in my audience. Nobody's in my audience at all. It says audience one, which is normally what it says when I'm in here by myself, okay, or when I'm on by myself and nobody's in yet. But now it's just saying audience one, so it's good to know you guys are still here. Anyway, that's the whole reason why why I started this broadcast, so that I could, bring a Christian platform to this, because I know there's people in here. All right. I know that there's people in here and on this platform that are Christians and are wanting something like this. They want a platform that's like this, and where they can come and talk and not be afraid to speak up about what they believe and who they believe in. Uh, well, you keep doing that. All right, you keep talking about that. Talk about God. You know, talk about how Jesus changed your life, because He can, and He is. He has you doing what you're doing for a reason, and it's an amazing thing. You know, I have several friends that are nurses and doctors and cops and all kinds of people in my life that go to our church, work in our community, and doing it, going to be doing similar to what you're doing, that are friends of mine. So cool. On this platform, I know that on this platform, the focusing like on my focus is more on Christ and Him being in your life. That's mostly my focus here on this platform. The deeper things and the meat of the word that's for another time, I think. And so getting into the deep things of God with people on this platform, it's not going to work real good. So focusing on Christ and Him saving you is and what He did on the cross is where my focus is at. And then once I got to know people, there's a couple other people that are come on my broadcasts. One of them I haven't seen in a while, and the other one I was on his broadcast last night, and I was on another one's broadcast this morning. And so we get around, and they come in usually in my broadcast, and we'll talk. And there's one gentleman that comes on. His name's Matt, but he's a pilot, and so he's been coming on the broadcast quite a bit lately, because he's with and he's not a commercial pilot. He from what I understand, he transports dead bodies. So um, uh, yeah, some people just have their own idea. They have their own idea. In fact, I do during the week. I do three Bible studies during the week. I do two. I do one on Monday night or Tuesday night, one on Thursday night, and then I do Sunday school. All right, for on Sundays, right? And so we're on my Bible studies during the week. I'm taking. We're going through the books of the Bible right now in the New Testament, and we're in now and First Corinthians, and I'm going to tell you, it's exactly what you just mentioned about you know what people have to say and what they think about the word. And it's amazing what people in their own minds think about God's word. It's amazing. And Paul tells them in Corinthians that what people think and what men think is foolishness. That God's foolishness is greater than any person in this world uh, who thinks they're smart. It's amazing. Listen to this, okay? It's Corinthians chapter 3, verses 18 and 19, okay? It says, "Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness, foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness." God's smarter. That's right. Stay humble. Don't get caught up in pride. That's actually chapter 4. Don't get caught up in pride. That's chapter 4. Wow. Isn't it amazing when I don't come on here to, like, I'm not worried about moving up the chain or anything like that or getting famous or anything, right? But I'm looking at the number, it says where you are in the hashtag that you're on. I think I started at like 48 or 49. I'm back to 453 now. You know what's funny is I have two Navy boys. Okay, I have four children. Okay, I'm going to be 55 this year. I, my oldest son is 31. Okay, then my daughter is 26. Then I have a son that's 22. Then I have a son that's 7. Okay, and actually my youngest son, James, he just accepted Christ this last Friday. Yeah, that was awesome. He's sitting over on the couch right now watching TV. But my two other boys are both in the Navy. It's amazing. And one of them is stationed here in California. The other one is stationed in Virginia. They both have pretty important jobs. One of them's a mineman. The other one is a Navy SEAL. Yeah, one of my sons is in special forces. It's scary for you as well as it is for him, because when they're in special forces, you know what that means. So I'm not going to sit here and explain it, but you know what that means. And so Is it amazing that we've already been on for 30 minutes with each other? I remember it was 30 minutes when you got on. Here we are in an hour already. I get a lot of that with my kids. They can't tell me where they're going. They can't tell me what they're doing. One of them, one of the sons is not like, his job is not commissioned, and he's going to be, for the next 3 years, he's going to be an A school teacher. So it's not, he's not in special forces or anything. So, but every time I ask him a question about something, even if it's not even related to the Navy or whatever, he's like, oh, I can't talk about that. I think I asked him about something about, and he's like, oh, I can't talk about that. It's like, son, it's okay to talk about COVID-19, all right? Yeah. Well, one of my sons, I don't talk to him that much. The one that's the Navy SEAL. I don't get to talk to him that much at all. So he's the one that lives in Virginia. Anytime they go on deployment, it's nervous. It's nerve-wracking because you know what they're going out there to do. Just pray for him. And now that you told me, I'll be praying for him too. I'll add it to my prayer list. Definitely be praying for him. Well, what does the Bible say? The fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. There you go. Was that Genesis 31:49? Let me see what that says. I pretty much think I know what it says, but let me make sure. 31:49, right? For and Mizpah, for he said, the Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent from one another. That's amazing. Oh, guess what? You're back up in my audience feed, but it still only says, it says one audience member. Normally it says two when it's me and someone else, but that's okay. Oh, thank you for the invites. I appreciate it. And thank you for the like. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm not here to get famous. It'll be what it's going to be as the course of time goes. Although I did move up from 56 to 50th in guys. Not that people are going to scroll down 50 people to watch some old man on you now, right? God will bring me who I need to speak with. That's the way I look at it. God will bring them. You broadcast, they will come. Do you know what movie that's from? Just wondering. that exact quote though. It was the actual quote was, "You build it, they will come." You don't know what movie that's from? It is. It had. I'll give you the name of the main actor that was in it. See if you can figure that out. It was Kevin Costner. It was called Field of Dreams. Really good movie. Yes, the baseball. He's done more than one, but this one was called, and it was the one where he kept seeing these premonitions, and people from the past, and he builds that baseball field out, and his farm is going. They're losing their farm, and he builds that baseball field on his farm, and the next thing you know, all those people line up in their cars to come see the field. And James Earl Jones is one of the people that was in the movie. There were actually quite a few actors in that movie that played baseball players. Yeah, that's an awesome movie. I love it too. Another movie that he did, that Kevin Costner did, that was really good was Dances with Wolves. That was a good one too. My other son, he has a gaming computer, so he streams games on Twitch. So today's his birthday. So I just got I just got a notification from Twitch saying that he was streaming, and it says birthday stream. Okay. All right. I'll be here, I think. God willing. Dang, it's already 3 o'clock. Been up for over an hour. Well, for those of you that are for those of you that are going to watch this later on YouTube, all right, just know, even though there's nobody in the stream, it's going to be recorded and on YouTube. So the audio or the video portion of it, you can't see what's on my YouNow screen, but you'll be able to listen to the video portion, which is just me talking, which is okay. Oh, we moved up. All right, I'm going to end my stream on YouTube. So let's end this one. End.